It's December 2nd, 2021. I'm Todd Dunn. Today I'm back aboard my 1972 Allied Princess 36 Catch Sequester, and I'm once again working on the do-it-yourself cherry and white maple cabin sole. And what I'm going to do today is put the fourth coat of varnish on the wood. I just finished puttying the boundary of the wood, and I'll show you that in a second. With an epoxy putty, it should cure out in a day or two, even though it's pretty cold now. Today is an exception. It's almost 50 degrees, but the epoxy putty will be cured out enough to sand it out and put some paint on it next week. So let's take a look at the cabin sole as it looks today with 3 coats of varnish on it. I apologize for the light. It's pretty dark in here today, but here's the cabin sole. That's got 3 coats of varnish on it. It's starting to show a little gloss, but these are hot coats in that I applied them without sanding between coats. And I'm going to do 4, and then tomorrow or Monday, depending on how well things cure out, I'm going to sand this out and put the final coat of varnish on it. Now, the area I just puttied is right over here, that little triangular area that's sort of tan colored. I've been gradually building that up, and it is now built up to be flush with the edge of the cabin sole. I just put a coat of epoxy putty in there, and what I'll do is probably tomorrow or possibly Monday, I will sand that out and put a coat of paint on it. I think I'm going to use Hatteras Beige, which will be, a sort of very light tan color. So that will not be a huge contrast between the cabin sole and the side of the hull there where it slopes up. Okay, so there's the cabin sole. I'm going to put my 4th hot coat of varnish on it right now so that hopefully I can sand it out and get the final coat of varnish on it tomorrow or Monday at the latest, depending on how well the varnish cures out. So we'll take a look at it again after I get the varnish on. Well, I just got that 4th coat of varnish on. It's still wet. You can see a little gloss even in this bad light. And depending on how well it cures out tonight, I may sand it out and put the final coat on tomorrow. And if I don't think it's cured out enough, I'll sand it out and put the final coat on Monday. It's still supposed to be quite warm on Monday. So this is a big improvement over the plywood I had down there a few weeks ago. And although the older cherry cabin sole is still quite dark comparatively, this wood is starting to darken up a little bit, even with the low amounts of light in here. And I expect this cherry will darken up quite a bit over the course of next summer. In that little triangle down there, I think I'll probably paint it tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that epoxy compound will be cured out enough to sand tomorrow, and I can put a coat of paint on it and let that paint cure over the weekend. And so that, I'd say by Monday, I will be finished with this project for this year. So that is the current status of my do-it-yourself cherry and white maple cabin sole in the forepeak of my 1972 Allied Princess Catch Sequester. It's coming along quite nicely. And I should mention one other thing. I am varnishing the cherry trim that's going to go around the edges to cover up any unevenness of the edges. And I should have it ready to put on after I finish varnishing the cabin sole. I will come back and shoot a short video after I get the entire project finished for 2021. I'm leaning in over the wet varnish right now to get into the light, which is why I'm in this sort of awkward looking position. Anyway, if you like this, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't, why don't you consider subscribing to my channel? There won't be a lot more boat work this year because it's getting to be too cold here in the shed to do anything. And I think I only have 2 or 3 more days where I can put down finishes. So it's going to wrap up boat work for this year sometime next week, I think. Thanks for watching.